What's up y'all, Cerulean Anime here, and today I'll be attempting to beat Pokemon Fire Red using only a Haunter. Haunter is a Ghost Poison type, making it weak to Ghost, Dark, and Psychic and Ground. We can eliminate Ground since Haunter has the ability Levitate, making it immune to ground attacks. Haunter here has a base stat total of 405 with good speed and special attack, but awful HP defense. So Haunter is basically a glass cannon. Now there are two specialists in Gen 1 that are a problem, both being Sabrina the Psychic Gym Leader and Agatha the Ghost Elite 4 member. Now to also mention, Blue's team is scary since two of them consist of dark attacks, the other is an Alakazam. Now with that being said, let's get into it. Y'all, just as a disclaimer, there are some parts where it looks like the health bar just randomly goes down, and the reason for that is because otherwise it would have dragged on for way too long. So, you're welcome. Challenging, I picked Charmander since my rival has Blastoise, which will make things harder. With Blastoise's high defense and the fact that it'll have bites, now to grab the letter and give it to Oak. Seriously, why do I keep including this part? Anyway, now to catch Haunter. After one ball, I name him Gentleman after one of my best friends, Gentleman Hunter, who is an amazing person. Forest and murder kids bugs. Sorry, not sorry. Now we head to Pewter City and take on Brock. He sends out Geodude and I use Lift, doing little but paralyzing. Then I use a Nightshade, doing a lot. Then another Nightshade defeats Geodude. Then he sends out Onix, one Nightshade does half. He used Rock Tomb but fails. Then another Nightshade beats Onix, earning us the first gym badge. Now we collect the running chute. Now we head to Mount Moon, but here I run into a small problem. We only have ghost moves against a normal type. So my only option was to run out of moves so I can struggle. Now we hit the Cerulean City. Then we battle our rival. He sends out Pidgeotto and I use Struggle, doing little damage. Then he uses Gust, also doing little. Then I heal, then he uses another Gust. Then I use Struggle, then he uses Gust. Then I use Struggle, then he uses Sand Attack. Then I heal, then he uses Gust. Then the last Struggle defeats the bird. Then he sends out Abra, then a Struggle does a lot. Then he fails the teleport, another Struggle takes down Abra, then he sends out Squirtle. I heal, and he uses Withdrawal, and Struggle does nothing, then he uses Tail Whip. But Water Gun faints Haunter, losing to our rival. Struggle does more, and he uses Sand Attack, and I miss Struggle, and he uses Gust. Struggle does a lot. And he uses Gust, and Struggle misses, and he uses Gust, and Struggle again misses, and they used Gust. And finally, another Struggle finishes and I heal during Abra, and one Struggle defeats it. And he uses Squirtle, and Struggle does good damage and it uses Withdrawal. Struggle does more and uses Withdrawal, and Struggle again, and he uses a Water Gun, and I almost defeat it, and I almost die. Then I heal and uses Water Gun, and last Struggle finally beats Squirtle and uses Rattata, and Struggle does a lot and uses Tail Whip, and Struggle finishes it, finally beating Kaz. Then we grab the tickets from Bill. Now to take on Misty, my favorite gym leader. She sends out Staryu and I use Shadow Punch, one hit KOing the Staryu. Then Misty sends out Starmie. I use a Shadow Punch, almost defeating it, lives. Then he uses a Super Potion, but then two more Shadow Punches are enough to KO, earning us a second gym badge. Now I catch a Meowth that will be used as an HM user. Now we hit the SSN. Now we battle our rival. He uses Pidgeotto, Struggle does okay damage. Then he uses Sand Attack. Struggle misses and uses Gust, and the exact fucking things happened. Then Struggle does good damage. Then I heal after Gust, then I miss, and he uses two fucking Gust, and last Struggle finishes it. I switch into Meowth and have accuracy again. I switch back and use the Confusion, and I heal and use Confusion, and Struggle does a lot, and I almost die. And I heal and uses Confusion, and I live and heal, and I heal again, and I live a Confusion, and Struggle finish it. And I heal during War Turtle, and he uses Withdraw, and I do half with a crit and uses Withdraw, and Struggle does nothing. Then he uses Bite, and Struggle almost does it, and I live a Bite, and his Struggle beats it, and I heal for Eradicate, and he uses Tail Whip, and two Struggles defeat the fat ass rat, finally beating Koga. Grab the HM cut and teach it to Meowth. Now we take in Surge. He uses Voltorb and Shadow Punch does a lot. He uses Screech and Shadow Punch finishes it and one-shot the Pikachu. I miss a Hypno with Raichu and uses Thunder Wave, and then uses Double Team, which sucks, and then uses another Double Team and I hit Shadow Punch doing half and uses Shockwave, and then uses another Shockwave and Shadow Punch finishes the Raichu, earning us the 3rd Gym Badge. Now we collect Flash and teach it to Meow. Now we hit the Rock Town. Now we hit the Lavender Town. Now we hit the Celadon City, and oh boy do we have a lot to go here. I grab the coin case, grab lots of coins, then buy Thunderbolt, now going down to headquarters. I battle Giovanni. Onyx and Shadow Ball does half, then uses Harden, and then crit with Shadow Ball, and sends out Kangaskhan and do half with Thunderbolt, and another Thunderbolt finishes it, and then sends out Rhyhorn. Shadow Ball does half, and then uses Tail Whip, and Shadow Ball finishes it, beating Giovanni. Now to take on Erica. She sends out Victor Bell, I miss a Hypno and uses Stun Spore, then uses Acid and hit the Hypno and Dream Eater, defeats it, and then sends out Tangela. They use Ingrain, then Shadow Punch does a lot. They use a Giga Drain doing little, then Ingrain comes in, and then another Shadow Ball finishes it, and then I decide to heal for Vileplume. He uses Acid, Shadow Ball does half, then uses Stun Spore, then uses Acid, then Shadow Ball finishes it, earning us the 4th Gym Badge. Now we battle our rival again. He sends out Pidgeotto, one Thunderbolt, one-shots it, then sends out Execute, and a Shadow Ball, one-shots it, then he sends out Kadabra, one-shot it with Shadow Ball, then sends out Wartortle, who dies to a Giga Drain, then sends out Growlithe, who dies to Psychic, beating Kaz. We head to Fuchsia City. Now we take on Koga. He sends out Coughing, I use a Psychic that one-shots, then sends out Muck, who almost dies but hangs on and uses Hyper Potion, and then dies to a Psychic. Then sends out Coughing, who dies to one Psychic, and then sends out Wheezing, who also dies to Psychic, earning us the 5th Gym Badge. Now we head to Saffron City. Then we battle a rival. He sends out Pidgeot, who dies to one Thunderbolt, then sends out Execute, who dies to one Shadow Ball, then sends out Alakazam, who dies to one Shadow Ball, then sends out Blastoise, who almost dies to a Thunderbolt, then uses Bite, doing a lot, then uses Protect, then uses another Thunderbolt, he defeats it. Then Growlithe dies to one Psychic, beating Kaz. Then we take on Giovanni again. He sends out Nidorino, who dies to a Psychic, then sends out Rhyhorn, who dies to a Giga Drain, then sends out Nidoqueen, who almost dies to a Psychic, then uses Tail Whip and last Psychic KOs. Then sends Kangaskhan, Psychic does half, then uses Tail Whip, then Psychic KOs, beating Giovanni. Now we take on Sabrina. She sends out Kadabra, then I use one Shadow Ball, one-shotting the Kadabra, then she sends out Mr. Mime, which I also one-shot, then sends out Alakazam, which I also one-shot, then she sends out Venomoth, which one Psychic earns us the 6th Gym Badge. Now we make it to Cinnabar Island. Then we make this to the mansion. We grab the key and head to the gym. We take on Blaine. He sends Growlithe, I use Psychic, one-shotting, sends out Arcanine, and Shadow Ball does nothing. I used Fire Blast, almost doing a lot, so I use the heal and use Fire Blast. I get burned, I heal again, and Fire Blast doing a lot. Then I heal again, he uses Bite, then I use the Psychic, almost beating it, one bite, and then I end up losing. Time for round 2. Psychic one-shots Growlithe, and Psychic does half to Arcanine, and Fire Blast does a lot, but second Psychic beats it. Then I heal for Ponyta, and a Fire Blast, and I heal again with Fire Blast, and one Psychic beats the Ponyta. My lord sends out Rapidash, and Psychic does half, and uses Fire Spin, and second Psychic beats it, earning us the 7th Gym Badge. We murder the motherfucking Hypno. Now we make it back to Viridian City. Now we take on Giovanni. He sends out Rhyhorn, which I one-shot with Giga Drain, then I do the same with Dugtrio, then sends out Nidoqueen, who I one-shot with Psychic, and one-shot Nidoking with Psychic, and I one-shot Rhyhorn with Giga Drain, earning us the 8th Gym Badge. Now we battle our rival again. He sends out Pidgeot, who I one-shot with Thunderbolt, and also I one-shot Alakazam with Shadow Ball. Then sends out Blastoise, and I use Thunderbolt, doing not enough, then he does half with Bite, then one Thunderbolt finishes it, then sends Growlithe, and one Psychic, it lives on 1 HP, but another one beats Growlithe, then sends Rhyhorn, who dies to a Giga Drain, then sends Execute, who I Shadow Ball, and lives, and uses Stun Spore. I kept being paralyzed until he used Solar Beam, but one Shadow Ball KOs it, beating Kaz. Now we have made it to the final battle. Wish me luck. We battle Lorelei. She sends Dugong and I use Thunderbolt and lives on 1 HP and uses Ice Beam doing okay damage and uses a full restore and lives on 1 HP again and another Thunderbolt for the win. Then sends out Slowbro and Shadow Ball does half and uses Amnesia and lives on 1 HP. And I almost died to Surf but last Shadow Ball beats it. Sends Lapras and uses Ice Beam and Thunderbolt does alive. Then it uses Confuse Ray and uses Ice Beam and Thunderbolt beats Lapras. And sends Cloyster and Thunderbolt one-shots it and then I one-shot Jinx with Shadow Ball, finally beating Lorelei. Now to take on Bruno. He sends Onyx and one-shot it with Giga Drain, and one-shot Hitmonchan with Psychic, and sends Onyx and one-shot it with Giga Drain, and sends Machamp who almost dies and uses Scary Face and heals just enough to die to a Psychic, and sends Hitmonlee who dies to Psychic, beating Bruno. Now I battle Agatha. I use the Psychic one-shotting Gengar, then also one-shotting Golbat, and also one-shotting Haunter, and also one-shotting Arbok, and then finally two-shotting Gengar beating Agatha. He sends Gyarados who had one shot with Thunderbolt, and then sends Aerodactyl who dies to Thunderbolt. Then sends Dragonite, I use Psychic doing little, then uses Outrage doing half. Then Shadow Ball does so little, and it hits with Confusion and lives on 1 HP with Thunderbolt but does half with Outrage and falls to Psychic. Then sends Dragonair who uses Dragon Rage and almost dies to Psychic but uses Dragon Rage and then Healing, and then dies to Psychic. Then sends Dragonair and uses Thunder Wave and Psychic does a lot. Then uses Outrage and falls to second Psychic, finally beating Lance. Finally the champion battle. He sends Pidgeot who dies to Thunderbolt, then sends Alakazam who dies to Shadow Ball, and sends Arcanine who and Psychic does half and uses Flamethrower and a second Psychic, defeats it, and then sends Blastoise. I use Giga Drain doing half and then uses Hydro Pump, and falls to Thunderbolt and sends Exeggutor, misses a Sleep Powder, and Shadow Ball does good, then uses Sleep Powder and full restore, and finally beating Exeggutor. Then sends Rhydon who dies to 1 Giga Drain. Whew, finally beating Kaz. My lord, that was a handful. Anyways, we did it. Anyways, that is it for this video. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.